Imagine this. You're on the subway, earbuds in, phone in hand, scrolling through a sleek app interface that promises to make you fluent in Spanish, French, Chinese, or any language you desire. All while you commute, cook dinner, or sip coffee at your favorite cafe. With gamified streaks, bright badges, and little motivational pings. It feels like progress is just a tap away. But here's the million-dollar question. Do these apps actually work? Or are they more about the illusion of learning than true mastery? Today, we're exploring the fascinating world of mobile-assisted language learning, or MALL, M-A-L-L, and unpacking whether these little pocket-sized classrooms live up to their promises. So, as I always tell you, sit comfortably, grab your cup of coffee, and let's get started.
Woo! Let's go!
Alright, let's start our conversation. Sipping here my coffee. Let's set the stage, alright? Language learning has always evolved with technology, true. From cassette tapes in the 80s, to CD-ROMs in the 90s, to online platforms in the 2000s. Each generation has tried to make language more accessible. But smartphones have changed the game. They put a potential tutor, dictionary, flashcard set, grammar drill, and conversation simulator right into our pockets. And billions of learners worldwide have downloaded apps like Duolingo, Babel, Busuu, HelloTalk, Memrise, and even AI-driven platforms like Elsa Speak. You name it, all of them, download it. But here's where it gets interesting. Effectiveness is not always equal to engagement. Maybe some of you might disagree with that. Just because we enjoy something or stick with it doesn't mean it translates into deep, durable language acquisition. To answer whether apps really work, we need to break this down into several layers. Let's start with the first one. The science of how people actually learn languages. We've talked about it in previous episodes. Then the pedagogical design of these apps. Then the psychological or the psychology of motivation and habit. And habit formation. In one of the episodes, I was actually talking to a great teacher, James Peruca. We were actually just discussing about this, the habit formation. And well, finally, real-world application. Does what you learn in app transfer to your ability to hold conversations, read text, or navigate real situations? Let's start with the science. The consensus in applied linguistics is clear. Humans learn languages through meaningful input, output, and interaction. You need to listen and read a lot. You need opportunities to speak and write as well. And of course, you need the feedback to correct your mistakes and refine your system. Apps, at their best, are designed to provide input and some structured practice. But most fall short when it comes to authentic, sustained interaction. For instance, okay, it's not that I actually have some sort of like a deal with the following apps, but it is what we have in the market, so I'm going to mention them. Duolingo might train you on vocabulary through translation exercises. You see a sentence in Spanish and match it to English. Or you hear audio and repeat it. This can certainly build recognition, reinforce grammar structures, and create a sense of progress. But does it train you to handle the chaos of real speech in Madrid, Buenos Aires, or Mexico City? Not quite, I would say. Especially with the linguistic differences, or let's say the dialect in every country. In Spanish, we got different dialects or accents. So how are you going to deal with that if these apps have specific accent or dialect? It's pretty hard, right? If you go to Madrid, you're not going to hear the same accent in Buenos Aires or the same one in Mexico. Same thing happens in the United States, with the United Kingdom or Australia. Next, let's talk pedagogy here. Some apps are designed with communicative language, technical principles, offering role plays, dialogues, and speech recognition. Perfect, right? Others rely more heavily on behaviorist principles, rewarding repetition and memorization. Then you have AI-driven apps that claim to personalize your journey, adapting difficulty based on your responses. This is beautiful, right? These designs mirror different schools of thought in education. And here's the kicker. No single app covers the full ecosystem of what a learner needs. Take HelloTalk or Tandem, for example. They connect learners with native speakers. That's powerful for interaction. But without guidance, it can become shallow, exchanging hi and how are you messages over and over. Meanwhile, grammar-heavy apps like Babel may leave you memorizing dialogues but struggling to improvise, right? This leads us to the psychology of habit. Here we go. One of the strongest benefits of mobile apps is that they lower the barrier to consistency. If you can squeeze in 5 minutes a day, that's already better than nothing. Streaks, reminders, and gamification encourage microdosing of language. Over time, these micro-sessions accumulate. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You might not notice the benefit in one session, but over months, it makes a difference. And here we have one big however. There's a dark side. Learners can get trapped in a gamified bubble. They chase points, streaks, or leaderboards, mistaking these rewards for fluency. You've probably met someone who's been on Duolingo for 300 days straight, but still can't order food confidently in Spanish. That's not failure. It's a mismatch between what the app delivers and what the learner expects. So, do apps really work? Here's the nuanced answer. Yes, but with limits. Apps can definitely help you build a foundation of vocabulary and grammar. Yeah? Also, it can keep you motivated and consistent. Offer bite-sized learning in moments that would otherwise be wasted. And of course, there are some of them that support pronunciation practice through AI-driven speech recognition. But here's the other part. Apps cannot replace deep immersion in authentic language use. Let's keep that clear. Provide the richness of human feedback from a teacher. Impossible, right? Prepare you for the unpredictability of real-life conversations. And of course, fully develop cultural competence and nuance. Impossible. Now, let me share here a story. A student of mine once proudly told me she had completed all the levels of her favorite app. She was excited, glowing with accomplishment. But when she met a Spanish-speaking tourist in her city, she froze. They spoke too fast, she admitted. I couldn't understand a word. What happened here? The app had given her controlled input. Slow, segmented, predictable. Real life? Messy, might be fast, filled with accents, idioms, and unfinished sentences. This gap is what learners need to be prepared for. So, how do we use apps effectively? The key is to see them as supplements, not solutions. Pair your app learning with real-world practice. Use Duolingo for vocabulary, but then jump onto HelloTalk to chat with someone. Use Babel for dialogues, then try ordering food in a real restaurant. Use Memrise to memorize phrases, then test them out in live conversations. The synergy is where true learning happens. And of course, educators. Educators can also leverage apps as homework or warm-ups. Imagine assigning students 5 minutes of practice before class. Suddenly, they arrive primed, vocabulary fresh in their minds, ready for deeper interaction. Apps can extend the classroom beyond its physical or digital walls. And let's not forget about equity. In parts of the world where traditional language schools are inaccessible or too expensive, apps democratize learning actually. A teenager in rural India, a worker in Brazil, or a student in Africa can access global languages with just a smartphone. That's powerful. It's not perfect, but it's a step towards educational inclusion. So, to wrap up, do apps really work? They do, but only as part of a bigger picture. Think of them as the appetizer, not the main course. They whet your appetite, give you a taste, and keep you coming back. But the feast of fluency requires interaction, immersion, feedback, and culture. Things that no app, at least not yet, can fully replicate. And who knows? With advances in AI, augmented reality, and voice technology, the line between app and reality may blur. We might one day have apps that simulate live conversations so well that they truly mimic immersion. Until then, keep your apps handy, but don't let them be your only teacher. Because, as I always tell you, language isn't just about tapping on a screen. It's about connecting, feeling, and living through words. And with that, I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you swipe open your language app, ask yourself, am I just playing a game? Or am I building the bridge toward real human connection? Until next time, keep learning beyond the screen and keep living the language.